Somewhere along the way, we stopped seeing each other. Not in the obvious sense. We still see people's posts, their takes, their reputations, their mistakes. But we've stopped really seeing the way love teaches us to see. We've become fluent in reacting, but clumsy in recognizing the image of God. And when we lose that vision, something in us starts to go blind. We're not just divided politically or culturally, we're disoriented. We no longer trust our instincts about what kind of response a moment requires. Is this someone I should challenge or defend? Am I being brave or just combative? It's hard to know because we're navigating relationships inside a fog. And if we're honest, many of us feel pressure to simplify others into categories: safe or dangerous, good or misguided, worth engaging or not worth the energy. This kind of split, this reduction of the other might feel necessary, even wise, but it has an impact on us. If we're flattening others into categories, it eventually might lead to actions that are far beyond the values we claim to hold. And this is not a new problem, it's an old one. In John's gospel, there's this haunting moment. Mary is standing outside an empty tomb, overwhelmed by grief. And Jesus is standing right in front of her, alive. And she mistakes him for the gardener. She doesn't see the divine, even though the divine stands immediately before her. It's not that she doesn't care. It's that her sorrow narrows her vision. The truth is too good to see clearly. And so she can't. How often do we miss seeing the image of God in the other? That's what fear does. That's what disorientation does. It limits our capacity to behold. And when we forget how to behold, we often shift into self-protection. We stop looking for the image of God in others and start scanning for threats. We interpret difference as danger. We withdraw, we defend, we diagnose. And little by little, we begin to believe that the safest way forward is not to see clearly, but to see less. But the cost of that kind of thinking is steep. When we stop seeing others as beloved, something in us begins to erode. We don't just become suspicious of the other, we become suspicious of our own tenderness. And we start guarding ourselves from the very thing that could heal us. In the Christian tradition, seeing rightly has always been a spiritual practice. To behold someone is not the same as to fix, manage, or agree with them. Beholding is slow. It's reverent. It makes space for the mystery of a life you do not fully understand. Jesus did this everywhere he went. When others saw a scandal, he saw a story. When others saw a problem to solve, he saw a person to love. He didn't rush to correct, he paid attention. He told stories that invited people in. Instead of drawing a line that pushed them out, he saw people as they were. And in doing so, helped them see themselves differently too. This kind of seeing is not soft, it's not sentimental, it's rooted in a deep confidence that the Spirit of God is still at work in every person's life, including the one that frustrates you, including your own. So if you felt the temptation to close your eyes, to stop paying attention, to stop engaging, to let criticism name the limits of your love, this is the invitation. See. Look for the image of God where you've been trained not to. Stay present where you want to pull away. And be curious instead of conclusive. You don't have to fix everything. You don't have to win the argument. You can choose to see differently. Love starts with attention, and attention, real, prayerful attention, is how we begin to recover our vision. So today, Maybe just start with one person. Picture their face not as a position, not as a label, but as a person. Ask God to help you see them, not as an enemy or an obstacle, but as beloved. Because when we behold others with love, something shifts. Our defensiveness softens, our fear begins to lift, and we start to remember who we are, not isolated selves, but people made for communion. So if you're feeling stuck or weary or unsure of what to do next, start with your eyes. Start with how you're seen, because often that's where love begins.